warning has now been issued for extreme western Fond du Lac and northwestern Dodge counties. This would be for Ripon, Brandon, Fox Lake, and Randolph. The storm is still quite a bit of ways away off to the west, but this is until 6:45 this evening, moving very rapidly. There is rotation in this coming just to the south of Buffalo, near the Rio area, making its way to the northeast pretty quickly. So we'll keep an eye on this, and we'll have more information on this storm when we get back. We'll run once again till 6:45. Tornado warning, western Fond du Lac, northwestern Dodge. All right, we continue with the tornado watch for most of southeastern Wisconsin until 10 o'clock, where we now have tornado warnings for portions of the area. Western Fond du Lac and also extreme northwestern Dodge counties. That is until 6:45 this evening. We've been tracking this line now since it was out towards Mauston earlier, and it has produced some tornadoes out there. There's still significant rotation in this, and the storm itself is still quite a ways away from Fond du Lac County line and extreme northwestern Dodge near Fox Lake and Randolph, but it is moving very quickly. You're going to get some of those gusts. I'm sure you're seeing the dark sky, hearing a lot of thunder from all the lightning with this as well. And this is moving quickly to the northeast. At one point, this was moving northeast at around 70+ miles per hour. It's not taking its time making its way through the area. And in addition to that, it would be moving into Fond du Lac eventually as well. As you move closer in, you can see the town of Brandon. There's Ripon, Waupun, Fox Lake, Randolph in this area as well. The worst of it is still off to the west near Partyville. And this is the area that we're concerned about with the rotation. The winds that we've been seeing is 60, 70, even 80 miles per hour with the history of this storm, and it continues to track off to the northeast. That would put it in the path of Markesan, Green Lake, Ripon, and Brandon within the next 20 minutes. It looks like the main threat of the rotation would stay north of Cambria and also north of Randolph and Fox Lake. You are in the warning for right now until 6:45, but it looks like the bulk of that would track north of you. You would get the outflow from that, so you could have some winds gusting close to 70 miles per hour. In those areas. We continue to see that tornado warning until 6:45. Extreme northwestern Dodge and extreme western portions of Fond du Lac County. Let's go over to Kristen Kershane. She's in studio now and tracking this line as well.
Yeah, hey Brian, I just wanted to go over a couple of safety tips for everybody when we talk about tornadoes. There's a couple of things that you need to keep in mind. So we're looking both at the radar product, we're looking at the velocity, so we're looking at a couple of different elements within the storm. But a few things that you need to keep in mind, again, very basic safety measures when we talk about tornado safety and we talk about tornado warnings. Where are you going to go if you're in the path of that storm? Well, there's a couple of different places that you should be going. That would be into the basement, preferably. That is, if you have a basement to go to. If not, it's going to be a more interior room, away from outside walls. Put as many walls as you can between you and the thunderstorm. Stay in an interior room. That might be a hallway closet. That might be a bathroom. Whatever that place is towards the middle of your house. Again, preferably down into the basement. So again, we've got one tornado warning that's impacting parts of Dodge and into Fond du Lac County now. This storm warning is going to continue. We also have some severe thunderstorms. As we look at the track of these storms, they're going to move through very quickly. They're moving at about 65 miles an hour. So these are going to move in and move out relatively quickly. On the southern end of this line, these storms at the moment are not severe, but we're going to continue to keep an eye on these as we move through this evening. Brian, I'll send it back over to you.
Yeah, you were showing just the southern tip of that line now. That's what we have to be watching because these are moving northeast. So it is clipping the northwestern portions of our viewing area, and that will go then into the Fox River Valley and cross over Lake Winnebago and head over towards Chilton and Reedsville over in that area of the state. But we are seeing some of those heavier thunderstorms now work their way just to the west of Beaver Dam, Fox Lake and Randolph, and you're going to get that gust front here momentarily where you're going to get those winds with that shelf cloud exceeding 60, maybe 70 miles per hour. And there has been rotation in this as well. So the National Weather Service has been on top of this since it was back out towards Mauston. There has been a confirmed tornado near there, also one near the Toma area. That was around 4:15 this afternoon, and this storm just continues to just keep developing and feeding into that heat and humidity along the cold front. Now, these lines of storms should weaken a little bit as they get closer to Milwaukee for the fact that it will pull in some of that cooler air from the lake. That did not happen the other day because the storm was riding along a warm front. We don't have the warm front today. We have the cold front that is creating those showers and thunderstorms and the severe weather. Some good news is that even though the rotation now seems to be making its way across into the extreme northwestern corner of Dodge County, it doesn't look quite as ominous as it was earlier. Is there still rotation there? Absolutely. There could be a funnel cloud. Haven't had a confirmed tornado on the ground in this area, but there could be a funnel cloud there. Some gusty winds coming out of this as well, right around the Fox Lake area, and then heading over towards Brandon as it makes its way into Fond du Lac County. The winds, though, look to be down just a little bit as there continues to be rotation in this. Do not let your guard down. Find your shelter, as Kristen was mentioning, lowest level, away from windows. If you don't have the lower level, get into a closet, whatever you need just to protect yourself from the flying debris. Things are kind of calming down off to the west as the storms have pushed through, but this is the area we need to be watching because this whole line is moving northeasterly into the Fox River Valley. So the bulk of the worst weather is going with that. This was the bullseye for the worst of the weather, and it's exactly where it got hit. We have that slight to enhanced risk. They had the moderate risk, level 4 out of 5. We have level 2s and 3s here locally. And so you're going to continue to watch this develop on the tail end of that cold front and work its way eastward. So it's getting close to Madison, and I'm thinking this whole thing is out of here before 10 o'clock tonight, and that's why we have the tornado watch until 10 o'clock tonight. And this is what's firing all this off, this powerful cold front tapping into those 90s, that high humidity. You can see all the warnings. Green Bay now under a tornado warning as well. There's tornado warnings up in the Northwoods. There's got to be right now at least 6 to 7 tornado warnings across the state in the area that was supposed to be hardest hit. And we are on the fringe of that, and we will be seeing some of those thunderstorms here as well. All kinds of lightning strikes. This has come down quite a bit as well, down now to about 800 strikes in the last 20 minutes or so. About an hour ago, that was over 1,500. So the amount of lightning in a storm also gives you an idea of what that storm is doing, and this shows that it's starting to lose some of its punch. That does not mean let's stop. Let's not worry about this. We have numerous tornado warnings, but just trying to give you the trend that things look to be kind of getting a little bit better instead of getting worse like they were between 4 and about 5:30 this afternoon. This is for Milwaukee. The best chance for rain sometime after 8 o'clock. Up until around 11. That has seemed to have been speeding up a little bit, so I think we could possibly shift this a little bit more towards after 8 o'clock or so and getting out of here around 10 for how quickly this has been moving. It is still in the 90s where it has rained. The Dells down to 71. Green Lake, you're getting the heavy rains now, and it's still at 88, but with the latest update, it'll probably start dropping as well. I'm going to go back to the graphics here and show you exactly, once again, this is what we are concerned about. It is this rotation right here moving into Fox Lake. There could be a funnel cloud, maybe a weak tornado on the ground just to the northwest of Fox Lake in extreme northwestern Dodge County. That's why you're under the warning until 6:45. This will continue to track to the northeast into western Fond du Lac County. Looks like it would just go to the north of Waupun, and right around the Brandon area could get hit with some of these winds. This is the leading edge of those gusty winds, that gust front where you could be seeing some winds approaching 60 plus miles per hour. But it's that rotation that we've seen all afternoon long now on the radar. That's why there are so many different tornado warnings across the region. And you can see just kind of lining up here coming out of just north of Madison up towards Dodge and Fond du Lac counties. And this will then quickly move through Fond du Lac into Calumet, Manitowoc counties as well. And so you can see the bulk of this is staying north of us. We're getting clipped in our northwestern counties, but we will still be under the gun. We have the watch, the tornado watch, until 10 o'clock tonight, and we'll be watching these storms. These storms, once they move out of Fond du Lac, will no longer be of concern of danger to the Waukesha, Milwaukee, Racine, Kenosha. As you can see, they'll be gone out of the area. It's the region to the southwest of us that we have to watch. Now, did these storms take a lot of energy out of the atmosphere? That's the big question. We still are hot. We're still humid, but with the location of these storms, they were pretty close to us. They could have taken quite a bit of the energy away, and that could help keep us with a little bit less severity of the storms as they push on through. But that front continues to inch to the east and is bringing those severe thunderstorms. Now you can see the warnings from Green Bay all the way just north of Madison. Still pretty quiet down around the Quad Cities. And again, would be the region that you'd want to watch to see if this flares up and then works its way into southern in southeastern Wisconsin over the next couple of hours. You can see we're close in once again. Western Fond du Lac, northwestern Dodge, and we're going to continue to monitor this. These are under the warning until 6:45 this evening. Kristen, you have any latest? I mean, are they seeing any damage in this area?
No, there's not really any new reports. There are some damage reports from around Marquette County.
Okay.
Plenty of trees that have come down. There are some damage reports from Columbia County. So these are all communities to the west of us. There is a new tornado warning, not for our area, but it does include Green Lake. And so I think that's another storm that we're going to have to keep an eye on. If we switch over to Max 2, we can take a closer look, there we go, at this new tornado warning. So again, this is off to our west. Prairie du Sac, Poinet are included in this, but you could see the trajectory of this storm. If it continues on the same path, this storm may end up impacting parts of Dodge County. So we're going to have to keep a close eye on that storm and watch the rotation there. Again, we're still kind of waiting for this thunderstorm to really move in. It's just clipping the corner here of Dodge County, but you can see within the warning area, Fox Lake, Waupun, Brandon, and Ripon. And just outside of that, we also have Alto, and then El Dorado, Brandon, a few more communities here that you need to be in your safe place. This thunderstorm is knocking on your doorstep. So any of these areas, and even if you're farther upstream, if you're up here in Fond du Lac, or again, I think across Dodge County, you're really going to have to watch these storms closely as we move through tonight. We can put a track on the line. Again, we were talking about the speed at which all of these storms are moving, and they're moving very quickly. They're moving at about 65 miles an hour.
That's clipping.
Yeah. So if we look, we'll just look at the whole line. We'll kind of place a track on this whole line of thunderstorms. Again, this whole line is not currently severe, but if we look at where these storms are headed, they are moving to the northeast. Again, you can see a lot of the impact, at least in the near term, looks like it will be across Dodge County and Fond du Lac County. And so this was the area that we were talking about earlier. This is where we had that higher outlook from the Storm Prediction Center, that level 4 out of 5 risk area. But that's not to say that later tonight that we don't get some storms across the rest of the area. We've got that tornado watch in effect for most of southeast Wisconsin. But again, as we look farther south on this line, you can see that none of these storms are warned. There are likely some decent thunderstorms. We've got quite a bit of lightning. There's going to be some very heavy rain with these storms as well, but nothing severe, at least at the moment.
Those right now look like what it looked like around La Crosse and Eau Claire around 4 o'clock this afternoon. They were just starting to fire up at 4 o'clock. There was one warning between this area, and then by 4:15, we had Toma with a tornado on the ground, and then we had like 6 others tornado warnings within about 20 minutes. So this is what you have to be concerned about. Even though most of the action has been to the west and to the north, this area is just now starting to fire up, and it's exactly what happened the other day when we had the one storm fire up right around Rockford, and then it went into Chicago with tornado warnings and 80-plus-mile-per-hour winds. It doesn't take long in this kind of environment to get these thunderstorms to start developing and even get some spin. Not just the wind, not the lightning, not the hail, but also are concerned, obviously, the rotation with these thunderstorms as well. We do have a live shot now. This is from Fond du Lac. Tony Atkins is up there waiting for the storms to roll in, and he is starting to get the very dark sky up there. I'm sure he's getting some gusty winds as the initial front, or the gust front, is starting to move closer, and he's probably going to start hearing quite a bit of rumbles of thunder as well. As of right now, no rain in Fond du Lac. It is dry, but not for long. This is moving very quickly. Here's the leading edge of that now, moving right into Ripon. So still very, look how dark the sky was in Fond du Lac, and the storm is now just moving into the western portions of Fond du Lac County. But it's moving so quickly, we want to make sure you are prepared just in case this rotation is a tornado on the ground. We continue to see that rotation. It's getting a little bit more kind of muddied, a little bit more scattered, or kind of, scraggly looking, not quite as defined as it was earlier. The winds are starting to come down as well. That is excellent news, but we continue with the tornado warning for this area: northwestern Dodge, western portions of Fond du Lac until 6:45. So about another 17, 18 more minutes. And I would not be shocked, just because of the history of this. This storm has been tornadic or potentially tornadic since about 4:45 this afternoon. So almost 2 hours now, where this may have been hopscotching, maybe a funnel cloud, then a tornado, then it goes back up and comes back down. But there has been significant rotation in this since about Mauston, and it has just tracked across the area. Starting to look a little bit more ragged right now as it moves into Dodge and Fond du Lac County, but that does not mean that there's not gusty winds with this. That does not mean that there's not a torrential rain and a lot of lightning as well. And once that initial burst of wind comes through, look at the rain that's going to be coming through as well. This is moving northeast, so there's going to be potentially some flash flooding once again. And we had the tragic story here in Milwaukee the other day. Stay away from streams, from creeks, from drainage culverts, because this is going to be some very heavy rain in a short period of time that could create some flash flooding in areas. Because look at here, this is the leading edge right there. This line goes all the way down past Madison, just to the east of Dodgeville. So as this continues to move northeastward, some areas in Dodge, Fond du Lac are going to see some very heavy rain over the next couple hours as well. So we have all kinds of threats going on. We have the rotation that could potentially be a tornado. We have hail. We have gusty winds. We have a ton of lightning with this as well. And just watch out for some flooding in this region as well. The line is now starting to make its way into the western Madison metro area, and so it is getting closer. We were talking about this earlier. Kristen and I both thought around 7 o'clock this would start moving into our northwestern counties, about 30, 40 minutes before what we thought. And because of the trajectory going to the northeast, most of that misses us here in Oconomowoc, Whitewater, Kenosha, and Racine, but the whole line is moving eastward, as you can see. So what you're seeing now in Madison will eventually make its way through the central part of Dodge County into Washington, southern Fond du Lac, and maybe into Sheboygan over the next hour to 90 minutes. And so I think this is going to be done well before 10 o'clock, but it's going to be busy between now and then. And just how many different tornado warnings could we have? You notice that there was no tornado watch for Racine, Kenosha, and Walworth counties. The bulk of the energy, even though you're hot and humid, was supposed to stay north, and it's exactly where it has been so far today, right through the western and central part of the state, and now moving into the Fox River Valley as well. Any latest on anything out of the storm coming through? I mean, again, the rotation, Kristen, starting to look a little ragged, and the lightning strikes are starting to come down as well. Now we're down to about 650 in that area.
Yeah, I think what you're saying there is spot on, that line is starting to become a lot more messy looking, and that may mean less of a tornado threat, at least in the short term. But we've got to continue to watch this. We do still have this tornado warning for another 15 minutes. That's going to go until 6:45 tonight. This is still a radar indicated tornado. We do not have any spotter reports of a tornado on the ground. I think today is going to be a tough day to get those reports. We have a ton of moisture in the atmosphere, and that makes it very hard to visually see and confirm these tornadoes. Sometimes if we switch it over to the other computer, I'll just show that view that you're looking at there. This is from Appleton, and so we've got a severe thunderstorm warning there, but you can see we're just really looking at gray skies and some raindrops on the camera. Nothing very visually exciting to see there, but we do have a severe thunderstorm off to our north. But this product that you're looking at here, this is reflective of the rainfall rate. And so those brighter colors that you're seeing, those pinks, those reds, that's the indication of really a lot of moisture in the atmosphere. And so that will start to move in across Fond du Lac and Dodge counties before too long. So these thunderstorms are going to be accompanied with some very heavy rain, and that may end up causing a little bit of localized flooding. We saw that on Monday with those thunderstorms as they came through, and we may see that again today. And one of the problems that we saw was those ditches, those drains on the streets, they get clogged really easily, and so that can cause that localized street flooding as well. So that's just one of the elements. Again, the main thing that we're watching here is this tornado warning. It looks like the tornado warning that was farther south has been allowed to expire. So now we've got this severe thunderstorm warning that's just on the edge of Dodge County, and that before too long will be moving into areas like Columbus, Beaver Dam, Lowell, Waupun, again, Burnett, Juneau, Horicon, any of these communities here across, especially the northern end of Dodge County and then into Fond du Lac County. But we've got this thunderstorm now that's impacting Ripon and Brandon, again, Waupun. If you're in these areas, you need to be in that safe place in that tornado shelter area. Again, I'll just go over that quickly where that should be. If you've got a basement, that's going to be the best place to be. But the green areas that you see highlighted on this map, a stairwell, a hallway, an interior closet, potentially a bathroom, are all going to be good.
Sorry about that. I didn't mean to walk into your house.
The basement, certainly the best place to be if you are in this tornado warning area. So we're going to follow this. We're going to stay on this and we'll see kind of what happens. You know, even if this storm isn't producing a tornado, it's likely producing some pretty strong winds. You can see kind of a core where the winds here, and this is south of Cambria, where the winds are pretty strong, just outside of Cortland. And
close to 60 miles per hour right there.
Yeah, let's see, we can do a measure. This is the velocity product. So this measurement saying around 44 miles an hour, maybe 50 miles an hour. And this is sampling fairly high in the atmosphere. We're kind of far away from the radar site. And so at the ground level, the winds may be a little bit weaker than that. Brian?
We were talking about the the area that was supposed to get hit the hardest, and right now it is exactly what was projected earlier today. This is from the Storm Prediction Center out of Norman, Oklahoma. A rare level 4 moderate risk in the state of Wisconsin, and it included the Fox River Valley, which is getting hit hard, Fond du Lac County, Dodge County, northern and northwestern Waukesha, out towards Madison, and all the way back out towards La Crosse. And that is the region that has seen numerous tornado warnings today. A few confirmed tornadoes so far. As Kristen was mentioning, a lot of these rotations are going to be tough to figure out if there's something on the ground because it's raining so hard and they're on the leading edge of this. Some of these are going to be rain wrapped and not be able to be seen. You can see that the threat is lesser from Milwaukee, Racine, Kenosha, and Lake Geneva. It's a slight risk, level 2 out of 5, and then a level 3 moderate risk from Sheboygan down towards Whitewater as well. And so the lake is playing an effect. Like we said the other day, it was not going to, but today it was going to. And what I was also expecting is a new severe thunderstorm warning has just been issued until 7:15 for Fond du Lac as well as Dodge County. That's not a tornado warning, so that is a good sign, Kristen, that the National Weather Service here locally out of Sullivan is seeing that the rotation is starting to die down in this as well. And so this portion of the storm system is going to have winds of 50 to 60 miles per hour, some large hail, a whole lot of rain, and a lot of lightning. But this goes until 7:15 for parts of Fond du Lac and Dodge County. Let's go to where are we going to live? Green Bay. Let's take a live look from Green Bay. Torrential rains. They've been under a tornado warning now for the last 40 minutes, and nothing confirmed once again from that area. But you can see the rain is blowing sideways. It is nasty in the Fox River Valley. Green Bay, Appleton, Oshkosh is about to get hit pretty hard from this storm that has the tornado warning in Fond du Lac. And give it another, I'd say 20 minutes in Fond du Lac, Waupun, you guys will be seeing some of the heavy rain as well. But that is torrential rain. A lot of lightning flashes as well. So we've been talking about, the rotation and the chance for some tornadoes. But as Kristen was mentioning, there's hail, there's lightning, there's the straight line winds, and also the flooding rain. And we saw it here in Milwaukee the other day. It rained for 15 minutes and some of our streets were flooded. Yes, it quickly receded, but just be careful out there this evening. Stay away from the drainage ditches, the streams. I know they're intriguing, but just stay away. We had a very unfortunate story from Monday with the young boy. We don't need that again. Just there's going to be a lot of water. It's nothing right now. It's sunny here in Milwaukee. Give it some time. Look at this area of rain now making its way out of Green Lake County into Fond du Lac and Dodge County. This is going to be blinding rain, gusty winds. Just be careful. Stay away from the windows if you can. These are the only warnings that are currently in effect in southeastern Wisconsin, but the bigger picture once again is showing that the cold front continues to sweep to the east. Rotation weakening, still some gusty winds heading towards Fox Lake and Randolph. Here's the bigger picture. this line is continuing to move off to the east, northeast, excuse me, very rapidly. That's why the bulk of the severe weather that was to our west from Toma, Mauston, the Dells, has now moved up towards Green Bay and Appleton. Our area of concern is what's now beginning to fire up west of Monroe, south of Dodgeville, and southwest of Madison. No warnings on those yet, but it literally took 15 minutes for those storms to fire up quickly out towards La Crosse and then become tornadic. And we have a whole lot of energy in this part of the state for that cold front to tap into. Yes, the lake will help kind of reduce that risk. That's why you saw the risk threat down to a 2 and a 3 as it got into southeastern Wisconsin, but it's still looking pretty nasty out there.
Yeah. Hey, Brian, just looking at the radar here, there's kind of an interesting feature that you can see. I'm going to stop this motion. And if we look just on the other side of Beaver Dam,
The bow?
that kind of bowing out right there that we're seeing. So I think that could be one indicative of some pretty strong winds.
Very.
But this little kind of kink in the line, I don't really like the look of that either. And that's kind of right on the edge of that tornado warning. So anybody in this area, you should be in your shelter spot. First of all, this is a severe thunderstorm warning for this northern part of Dodge County, but it's also a storm that earlier had a tornado warning. So I think we have to, be mindful of that, and there's a tornado potential within this storm. So if you're in any of these warned areas, severe thunderstorm warning or tornado warning, I think you need to be in that safe place.
Kristen, how quick can this change? What you're saying?
Yeah.
In a second.
Very quickly.
Or I would say right now, Waupun, Beaver Dam, and Columbus, you're getting that gust front. I'm going to guess there's a significant shelf cloud with some very gusty winds coming out of that, and then we followed by the torrential rain.
Yeah, and it may be hard to see that shelf cloud with all of the rain because I'm sure that this is producing some very heavy rain. So Shannon, to your point, this can change very quickly. The other thing is that we only get a new radar scan every couple of minutes. So this storm is changing constantly, and we're getting those radar updates every couple of minutes. So the picture that we're looking at right here, okay, we're taking a live view from Fond du Lac.
Look at how much darker it's gotten since the last time.
Like
street lights are on.
Hey, Kristen, can we see gate-to-gate velocity in that notch?
Yeah, sure. We can look at the velocity product. So Steve's asking about the velocity product, which is the product that measures wind. So we're able to kind of look into the thunderstorm and see what the winds are doing. Again, we're kind of far away from the radar site, so you have to remember that radar beam is shooting farther and farther into the sky as we get away from the radar site. So this is going to be scanning kind of high, but you can see also that there's a little bit of what looks like gate-to-gate here. Where you see the reds and the greens kind of close together could be an indication of a little bit of rotation. But also, if we just measure the winds and we look at the strength of the winds, 40, 50 miles an hour. And again, we have to remember that this rotation or these winds are going to be somewhat high in the atmosphere.
This storm was the one that created the tornado by Mauston. And that was a significant signature on the radar. I mean, it was like a donut, and the winds were estimated at over 80 miles per hour. So that in itself has weakened considerably, which is very impressive. We have 4 minutes left on this tornado warning, and they have not extended it, which is also a very good news for the city of Fond du Lac. But you saw the dark sky. You are getting the gust front here. I would wish we could talk to Tony, because I'm going to guess the winds are going to start picking up here dramatically. Once that dark sky passes over, you're going to get that rush of wind, the rush of cooler air coming out of it, and then followed by the torrential rain. And you can see the flashes of lightning in there as well. Doesn't look like it's raining quite yet because it's just off to the west of Fond du Lac, but I bet you if we went back to that picture here, Tony looks like he's getting ready. I hope. First of all, be careful. I know there's a lot of lightning in the area. Please be safe. And have you had the wind yet, Tony? Can you hear us?
Yeah. Yes, I just kind of want to explain and say maybe the last 5 minutes a cold front came through. It's about it felt like 90 earlier today. It was actually 90, but it feels like 30 degrees cooler only within the past 5 minutes.
That's the gust front.
Right behind me, you can see
rain cooled air coming through. Look at that.
Yeah, so the cold air is coming through and some of those clouds. We are near shelter, so I do have a store that I can go inside if things get heavy. But just take a look. This is pretty much what we've been seeing. The clouds continue to get darker and darker as time goes on. Again, it feels like 70, maybe even cooler. That cold front came in quick, and these clouds are starting to move fast. I actually just saw a flash of lightning. Ryan, if you want to take a look west there, just go back west. We just saw one flash of lightning, maybe more to come. Obviously, we're being safe. We are near a door where we can go inside. But yeah, these clouds are moving in. It's getting darker and darker, and we're starting to see rainfall in the distance as well as some lightning flashes.
And that coincides. If you're looking due west, the darkest clouds there are showing where the heaviest rain is, which is just west of Fond du Lac. So the city of Fond du Lac might just get clipped with some light rain here. They got the gusty winds from the gust front and that cooling effect from the rain that came through. So that is not necessarily the cold front, that's the gust front. But there's a lot of lightning to your west. I would be shocked to see if you see any hail in that location. But how fast are the clouds moving at the base there? I mean, we have this storm being clocked at over 70 at one point.
Yeah, I mean, the clouds are, they've been moving pretty quickly. Right now, they're all pretty dark, so it's kind of hard to tell. I don't know, Ryan, if I could just get in front of the camera and point something out. Say right here, that's where I really can get a good look at how fast the clouds are moving, where you could kind of see the light peeking through. These are some fast-moving clouds here. Brian, I do want to show you also just kind of the front over on this side. You can kind of see a shelf there. It's making its way east toward Lake Michigan. But yeah, this all coming in from the west, pretty dark, fast moving clouds right now. So I'm going to pay attention to how fast or how much time it takes for these clouds to continue moving over us and past us.
Can he go back up just to your right shoulder there? Can he go back up, go a little bit further? That looks like the shelf cloud.
Yeah.
There it is. There's your shelf cloud.
There it is.
That's impressive. That's nasty. And a lot of folks say sometimes that's a funnel cloud. That's the leading edge of the storm. It's where the cold air is coming out of it with the rain.
And rain is, and where we see the darkest is where that rain is really coming down in Fond du Lac.
It's coming in contact with that warm, humid air he was talking about, and so you get this lowering of the clouds. So a lot of folks think that is the funnel cloud, but it's the shelf cloud. And notice the wind. Since that shelf cloud has gotten closer, the wind has really started picking up. Once that goes through, the winds start whipping nasty. I think Fond du Lac is going to get some rain, but the heaviest rain looks like it might just stay just to the west with the latest scan I'm seeing on the radar. Also on that, you now notice that Madison is under a severe thunderstorm warning, so that means southern Dodge and western Jefferson would be next to get the severe thunderstorm warning. The good news is, and the reason we have been on nonstop, is that the tornado warning for Fond du Lac, western Fond du Lac and northwestern Dodge has been allowed to expire. You also notice that there hasn't been a reissue of a tornado warning for the first time since about 4:15 this afternoon when this storm first spun up that tornado near Toma and Mauston. It has tracked across the state. The lake may be helping a little bit here. It's still an intense storm. You see the cloud cover there. You see the shelf cloud. You see the wind in Fond du Lac. There's a ton of lightning with this storm, and the winds are probably going to be between 50 and 60. That right there is severe thunderstorm criteria. This is going to continue to move off to the northeast very rapidly. New warnings have been issued for, it looks like, Calumet County, which is north of our viewing area, but that'll eventually go into Manitowoc and in the Two Rivers area. But we're going to continue to watch that line down to the south of us, and it's getting a little bit more defined, Kristen. From Madison now down towards Monroe, that is starting to fill in. And that's what we've been concerned about. It has been quiet to the south, but that is not the case anymore. The only warning is from Madison to about Lake Mills, and then the line will continue to extend down to the south. It's getting darker and darker in Fond du Lac, and those winds continue to pick up. What, you have any latest information?
Not too much new. There is reports of damage again to our west into Columbia County.
Okay.
Got power lines down, trees down, and so I think that suggests that these are strong storms.
Yep.
They're doing damage to our west, and these are the storms that we're watching come into southeast Wisconsin. So we know that they're producing very strong winds that are going to do some damage. That's the only new report that I've seen. There is emergency manager from Dodge County saying that there's very heavy rain, almost zero visibility with the rain, and would estimate around 40-mile-an-hour winds. So
the reason, excuse me, for the tornado warning in Dodge and Fond du Lac was because of that Columbia County damage. That's where it was more defined. You could definitely see the rotation. You could definitely see that there were some very strong winds. And then as it moved into the Fox Lake, Beaver Dam, Randolph area, that's where it started to weaken. I'm sure they may still have some tree damage in that area, but it would significantly weaken from when it was in Columbia County, where we're getting reports of some widespread damage.
As we continue to see the two images on the screen, well, now we go to one with just the radar, but before that, we were looking at that cloud really kind of making its way across, and you were talking about the heavy rain. Can you speak again about safety, especially if you are driving in this right now, and you talk about Fond du Lac getting pounded, what one should do with these rains and these winds coming down as quick and fast as they're coming?
First of all, pull over in a safe spot. Don't do it on the interstate.
not on the interstate.
Not on the interstate,
Right, that's
because
what I'm saying.
people can't see you. It's blinding rain. That's why you have to pull over. The windshield wipers can't keep up.
On Monday, I saw that the rain was very heavy and people were pulling over under the overpasses, which is very dangerous. Okay. Might seem like a good idea at the moment, but you really want to get to an exit and then get off, and then you can pull over and wait, because people driving, they can't see you when there's this blinding kind of rain. So definitely get off at an exit and pull over if you need to do that.
The tower cam shot you're seeing, not Fond du Lac anymore. This is Milwaukee, and so this is off the Marquette.
So we're looking west.
You're looking
here.
west, and those storms are up around Beaver Dam, Madison, and we're getting the cloud cover from that already. That's the tops of these thunderstorms.